The Walking Dead Season 9. Now, I've covered this show on the channel before, and you can check those videos out to know my thoughts on the seasons leading up to this video. This show has a crazy spectrum of opinions. Some love the show all the way through despite its flaws. Some people turned on the show at Season 6 and straight up gave up on the show by Season 7 and 8. While I love aspects of Season 7, I really felt the show was going downhill at that point. While there was a couple silver lining moments in Season 8, it was truly a chore to get through at that point. Season 9 seems like a chore to invest my time in, but I did tune into Rick's final episode at the time it aired, and I absolutely loved it. However, I still wasn't on board to invest myself in Season 9 just yet. While I don't consider myself a completionist by any stretch of the imagination, I felt weird just putting all this time and even years tuning in every Sunday and watching The Walking Dead to just stop watching it altogether. Hell, this was practically my favorite TV show for the first 4 or 5 seasons. I'm sure a lot of others felt that way about giving up on the show, but I finally broke down and watched Season 9. I had heard decent things about Season 9, even though Rick had made his exit from the show 5 episodes into Season 9. I will say Season 9 is quite a nice surprise. With all the ridiculousness and decisions that happened in the show for better or especially worse, the show had gotten good again. Rick's exit from the show was bittersweet, but he definitely left the show with his boots on and left on a good note. His last episode, What Comes After, may even be in my top 10 favorite Walking Dead episodes. The end of Rick's story then proceeds with a time jump of 6 years, where we see Judith grown into a little girl saving a group of people we'd never been introduced to before. Honestly, if this show had gotten canceled and What Comes After was a series finale of The Walking Dead, I would have been perfectly content with that being the final episode in the series in general. Luckily, we got the rest of Season 9, 2 more seasons, and additional spin-offs to watch as well. I don't know how well The Walking Dead universe is doing among AMC and general audiences, but this is a universe I actually don't mind seeing and playing out. The DC Universe, Marvel Cinematic Universe, etc., happening over the past number of years, it does make sense to me that The Walking Dead would do something like this. We already had Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead World Beyond, along with Dead City just coming out, and Daryl Dixon and The Ones Who Live coming soon. The big thought I had with the time jump in the rest of Season 9, I thought to myself, where do we go from here? Well, you introduce new characters, new stories, and new threats. I never thought I'd make this comparison, but after the time jump, introducing new characters and storylines, I felt like I was watching the middle of Season 2 of Twin Peaks. That show has its own controversies, but when you solve your main mystery of the show mid-Season 2, where do you go from here? Well, new storylines, new characters, new threats, and you build the show up again. And that's what Twin Peaks did after a really weird, awkward phase of the show. Each season of The Walking Dead has their big bad or threat. The Governor, cannibals in Terminus, the Saviors. Season 9 has one of the most unique threats, which is the Whisperers, a group that dress themselves as the dead and can blend in perfectly with the dead and even lead a horde of walkers to a group that is a threat to them. The Whisperers, I may even prefer over the Saviors as a threat. While I love Negan as a character, you had a great character wrapped up in some not so good seasons, which may be why I think the Whisperers are edging over the Saviors as a threat so far. Plus, they have an awesome introduction with the killing of a major character that is a bit shocking. The leaders, Alpha and Beta, are equally scary and not to be messed with. I did enjoy part of the season with finding out the origins of the Whisperers and how Alpha will go to insane ends to get what she wants, including getting her daughter back from Daryl just to get information about their group just to degrade her daughter again. Season 9 has had a good amount of highlights. Michonne gets pushed to the brink in the episode Scars. Daryl gets in an awesome fight scene with Beta in the episode Choke Point. You have a candidate for possibly one of the best episodes of the series in The Calm Before, where most people describe it as the Red Wedding of The Walking Dead, which if you've seen Game of Thrones, you'll immediately have that oh shit feeling. What makes The Calm Before episode so shocking is that it starts and plays out almost like a typical episode up until the last 10 minutes, which quickly shifts into a about to get real feeling, and it leaves your jaw on the floor when the episode ends. I have to give praise to the composer Bear McCreary in this episode. Besides the theme in the show intro, The Walking Dead is known for the lack of music, except adding music to really elevate a scene or use it when you know the music counts. The score at the end of The Calm Before is absolutely haunting and seriously turns that one scene up to 11. It's heartbreaking, brutal, and an episode you don't forget once seeing it. I will give a highlight to the following episode, The Storm, which I look at as an epilogue to the episode The Calm Before. The gang faces a brutal and harsh winter trying to move members of the kingdom to Hilltop, and it's bad enough dealing with the unforgiving trials of Mother Nature, but dealing with walkers and the fear of the Whisperers possibly watching their every move. This was a unique episode too, because I honestly don't remember them ever doing an episode set in wintertime. Most of the time, the show tends to skip over wintertime between seasons. Not a lot of people will find this episode very profound compared to the masterpiece that was one episode ago, but it really shows the grief, depression, and struggle to go on for the group. I also didn't mind this as a season finale. It showed that the group wasn't quite ready to finish grieving their recent losses or to fight back against the Whisperers, and dealing with the insane winter storm was enough trouble already. Save the Whisperer War for season 10. I hate to compare this to Game of Thrones again, but I like that the season finale wasn't this super explosive episode, which some of the earlier Game of Thrones seasons tended to be. You needed an episode to process the big losses the group just endured. At least that's how I felt here. It was a nice somber season finale, and it was cool seeing frozen walkers. Overall, I have a lot to praise about season 9 of The Walking Dead. While it's not perfect, some newer characters may take some getting used to, and also has its flaws and nitpicks. They surprisingly got the show's footing back, even when your main character leaves the show. Also, one of your main characters, Maggie, just kind of disappears from the show, yet the remaining cast really pulled their weight and then some. Angela Kang, who took over as the showrunner for season 9, deserves some major praise because after season 8, they really dug themselves a grave, yet the show survived thanks to this season. It's a shame people who gave up on the show in season 7 or 8 probably won't pick this show up again, but I'm glad I did. Season 9 was a good reminder of why at one point The Walking Dead was the best show on television. The original show has now ended, and despite the show never getting back to the popularity it had before, season 9 is a real hidden gem. Despite The Walking Dead having some truly dumb writing decisions being made throughout its run, when the show was on point, it was on point. And thanks to season 9, it has made me a fan again.